When Emperor Wen of Han, Liu Heng, entered the capital, he was accompanied by only 6 close attendants, including Song Chong and Zhang Wu. To ensure his personal safety, after ascending the throne he appointed Song Chong as general of the guards, in command of the southern and northern armies of the capital, and appointed Zhang Wu as commander of the palace guards, Langshongling, effectively the chief of palace security. He then bestowed rewards upon the meritorious officials who had supported his enthronement and the veteran ministers who had followed Emperor Gaozu in founding the dynasty. For the imperial princes of the Liu clan who had been degraded by Empress Liu, he restored their titles and fiefs, using these conciliatory measures to consolidate his imperial authority. In the name of the emperor, he issued a general amnesty, with the aim of calming the people and stabilizing society. In economic affairs, he carried out the policy of light corvée and reduced taxes, easing the burdens of the common people, improving their livelihood, and promoting economic growth. Emperor Wen of Han, Liu Heng, had been filial to his mother and kind-hearted since childhood. Not long after ascending the throne, he said, "The law is the foundation for governing the realm." At present, the law not only punishes the offender himself, but also implicates his innocent parents, wife and children, and brothers, even making them government slaves. I consider such laws utterly unacceptable. From this day forward, I abolish all statutes that enslave the families of criminals or impose punishment through collective implication. Next, Emperor Wen of Han abolished the crime of slander and seditious speech. He reasoned, at present, there is a statute that punishes those who speak critically of the court. As a result, many officials, fearing that they might accidentally violate the law, dare not speak the truth. This prevents the emperor from learning the real situation and discourages worthy ministers from coming forward. Therefore, I am abolishing the crime of slander and seditious speech. In 167 BC, the 13th year of Emperor Wen's reign, he carried out a momentous act that shook Chinese history. He abolished corporal mutilation as punishment, thus reforming a brutally cruel penal system that had existed for over 2,000 years. The catalyst for this change was none other than a touching event, a 15-year-old village girl named Ying, who risked her own life to save her father. Detail C. A Chinese ancient filial piety story. A little girl changed history. https://youtube.be/hmykw06jmgm. The story of Ying saving her father is very famous. It is recorded in both the records of the Grand Historian, Shiji, and the Book of Han, Hanshu, the first 2 and most authoritative works of the 24 histories in China's standard biographical historiography. More than 1,000 years later, during the Yuan dynasty, Guo Jujing compiled and illustrated the 24 exemplars of filial piety, including the story of Ying under the title Petitioning to Save Her Father, which has been passed down from generation to generation to this day. The incident took place during one of Emperor Wen of Han's hunting excursions. The imperial procession was moving forward in great grandeur when it suddenly came to a halt on a deserted road. Just as Emperor Wen was wondering what had happened, the guards clearing the way brought before his carriage a frail and slender young girl. This was Ying, a 15-year-old village girl. Her eyes brimmed with tears, yet she showed no trace of fear. She had come to plead her case before the emperor. When Emperor Wen saw that the one who had stopped his carriage was nothing more than a frail and slender young girl, a feeling of compassion immediately arose in his heart. He ordered his attendants to quickly take the petition she carried and had it read aloud on the spot. My father served as an official in Qi, and all praised him for being honest and fair. Now he has violated the law and faces punishment. I agree that a dead man cannot be brought back to life, and once a body is mutilated, it cannot be restored. Even if one later wishes to repent and reform, there is no path left open. I am willing to give myself up as a slave in the government household, to redeem my father from his punishment, so that he may have the chance to make a new start. From childhood, Emperor Wen had been deeply filial to his mother, and as he grew up he became a kind-hearted young man, determined to be a benevolent ruler who cherished the people. As he listened to the girl's petition, Emperor Wen suddenly recalled his own past. In earlier years, most of the 8 sons of Emperor Gaozu had been forced to their deaths by their stepmother, Empress Liu. It was only thanks to his own modest and unassuming mother, Consort Bo, who took him, then only 8 years old, northward to the harsh and desolate frontier commandery of Dai, that he managed to escape the assassin's reach. For more than 10 years they endured the hardships of life on the border, thus avoiding a tragic fate. Now, as Emperor Wen looked at the pitiful and helpless young girl before him, he was reminded of himself in those difficult years. This child, in order to save her father, had dared to risk her life to submit a petition. Such courage and filial devotion were truly moving. Without hesitation, Emperor Wen immediately ordered a pardon for Tiing and her father. When Tiing heard the sudden news, she could hardly believe she had truly succeeded in saving her father. Overwhelmed, she knelt before the emperor, knocking her head to the ground again and again in gratitude. Even after the imperial procession had departed into the distance, she remained stunned, unable to collect herself. The next day, to the even greater surprise of Tiing and her father, the benevolent emperor issued an imperial edict. As the Shi says, a kind and virtuous ruler is like the father and mother of the people. When a person errs, punishment is often applied before instruction or guidance has been given. When penalties go so far as to sever limbs and carve the flesh, leaving lifelong suffering, how can such punishments be called virtuous? Is this in accordance with the intent of being a parent to the people? Therefore, corporal mutilation shall be abolished and replaced with a more humane system. In fact, Emperor Wen of Han had long detested corporal punishment. After all, the cruel treatment of consort Qi to death by Empress Liu 30 years earlier was still fresh in his memory. The incident of Tiing saving her father served as the immediate catalyst that finally triggered his determination to abolish corporal punishment. From a young age, Emperor Wen of Han, Liu Heng, practiced filial piety. When he was first enfeoffed as king of Dai, his mother, Empress Dowager Bo, lived with him. Liu Heng shared a deep affection with his mother. Empress Dowager Bo was frail and often ill. On one occasion, she fell gravely ill and remained bedridden for 3 years. Liu Heng personally prepared her medicinal decoctions and stayed by her bedside day and night. Only when he saw his mother sleeping would he rest briefly at her bedside. Every day, Liu Heng prepared the medicines himself, always tasting them first to check if they were too bitter or too hot. Only when he deemed them suitable did he give them to his mother. Liu Heng's devotion to his mother became widely known throughout the court and among the people. His filial conduct became a traditional model of filial piety and was included in the book 24 Exemplars of Filial Piety, which has served as a classic moral text for generations of Chinese children.